Ladies and gentlemen, toxic members and reformed people, welcome to the EU West Learning Fives March 2018 season tournament finals. My name is Can Opener Dude. I am joined here by one of our newest production members, Belkarama. Welcome to the production team and welcome to EU West.
Thanks for having me. I can already feel the toxicity seeping into my bones as we speak.
Me too. So we're going to get right into game here. The teams have been ready and raring to go for the past 20 seconds. So we're going to, it looks like we're going to have the bands going fast and furious so far.
Yeah, let's jump right in. Skarner taking out strong control over the new Scuttle with his stun and his lovely shrines all over the place in the river. Strong target for a ban. Kaisa, of course, number 180 carry. We saw what she can do in RNG in the hands of Uzi today. Taken care of right away. Rakan, a strong support candidate in the bot lane, taken out. Swain and Azir, two mid lanes. Seems probably target bans more than anything else. And we've got the Mundo picked up right away.
Yeah, Mundo got a very large buff in patch 8.9. His ultimate became bonkers, and it got a little bit nerfed on patch 8.10.
Yep, a little bit of a buff and a bit of a slight nerf, but still a really strong top laner, which I'm guessing we're going in order here in picks. So it will be Mundo versus Ornn. A bunch of tanks went noodling at each other. Ornn does have the advantage in team fights with his engage ult, whereas Mundo is a sack of meat. So we'll see how that goes. We've got Zac and Graves in the jungle matchup. Graves, of course, really good at taking Scuttle since his knockback on camps, and he's strong against tanks in general in the jungle. A bit of a bully as well. So we'll see how that goes. Zac with the engage, especially when paired with Aurelion Sol, is nasty. Both of these mid laners do have push pressure. Aurelion Sol early, he can get the wave pushed right away and go and help his jungler take the Rift Scuttlers. Anivia a bit later on in the game, but a bit of an immovable object in this mid lane.
Yeah, there's some definite semblances of strategy here, which I really do appreciate. I do want to point out this is a platinum versus platinum finals. So these are some of our prime students here. Very, very good players, like all the players in Learning Fives, obviously, all very good players, but we should definitely see some stratagems coming out between these two teams. Obviously, comfort pick's still going to be a big part of that, but definitely some semblances of team comps coming into this game, which is great.
I'd like to draw attention to the bans by GCOS. It seems like they really want to take away every single opportunity of engage from the support role. We've got Rakan banned, we've got Brahma, we've got Alistar taken out. Haha, I'm 12, by the way. Probably a big fan of playmaking supports. It looks like if he wants another one, there's still Thresh up on the board, but Trundle going to be picked instead.
Yeah, we actually had the pro draft already set up. So he is going to go for the Morgana, which is another one of those pro making, one of those two things supports. It was a pro making support. I mean, I played it when he played support. So it's one of the few left on the board. Thresh, still very good, but kind of fallen off in favor in terms of the meta simply because there are better picks like the Morgana, like the Braum. So nice to see, I'm 12 by the way, picking up one of those. We do see the Soraka on the other side. Certainly a good pick for the Morgana to, good pick target for the Morgana, I think. Picking up that Soraka, you can focus her down, and then she can't heal the Ezreal. She's dead.
Absolutely. We're going to be going, and I think it's time for our transition here.
Yep, we're going to be going right into game in just a second here. Once again, this is the EU West Tournament Finals between Team GCOS and Team Brexit Esports Club. I believe I actually got those right for once, so everyone thank me in chat. We're going to go right into the game here. We're counting down the spectator delays, so we're going to switch over to some music and we'll be back in just a minute with some League of Legends action.
Happiness is all I really need. Don't fear the darkness, it's your light that shines so brightly.
Can't hold you back from destiny. It's your time now. Set yourself free. Can't hold you back from destiny. It's your time now.
Take us up above the clouds. Shelter me under your wing. And it's more simple than you thought. And reflects your company. The storm's approaching and I see the dark within your eyes. Then you shine a smile and whisper, it's alright. Happiness is all I really need to keep my soul full and wear my heart up on my sleeve. Can't escape it, I can't outpace it. Can't stray off of the path you've flown so far. Instead of your last dance, take a second chance. Rebirth is waiting for you. Ignite your life.
Can't hold you back from destiny. It's your time now. Set yourself free. Can't hold you back from destiny. It's your time now.
Look back upon the night. It's always dark before the dawn. So simple, now you see. Strike the match to set you free.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to, again, Learning Five's EU West finals of the tournament between Team GCOS and Team Brexit Esports Club. Thank you for the pause. My name is Ken Openertude. I am joined here by Belkarama, and we are into game one that is currently paused. I'm sure there's probably something else I'm supposed to be saying right now.
Well,
But
we might as well go through the team list while we wait for the to introduce people.
yeah, so I'll go ahead and do that. On Team GCOS, we've got Bo up in the top lane, Ship in the jungle, Nath in the mid lane, and Hollow and Banana in that bot lane. While on the red side here, we have KRR1 on the top lane, Season 8 jungle in the jungle, CWL in the mid lane, Taeyonyi, Taeyoino,
I think that would be Taeyoni, but I
Taeyoini,
could be wrong.
yeah, yeah, that. On ADC with their support, 12 by the way. So, those are the teams. We're into game. This level 1, feel like we're not going to see too much going in. The only real level 1 power either of these teams have is the Morgana. What do you think?
Well, the combination of the Morgana binding in the early game with the Anivia Q, Anivia does tend to start Q just because of the pressure that it puts out on the wave. They do have the ability to get in there. If they can pick off or at least blow some summoners, they do have the advantage. I would be surprised to see a whole lot of invade though. It's a risky business whenever you get into these matches and you have a lot of pressure on you to perform. You don't want to start it off on the wrong foot. So generally speaking, they're going to play it safe. I'd like to mention that Banana is playing Soraka. I really enjoy that. It's just a word. The player named Banana is whipping out the Soraka. I love it.
They're not playing Order of the Banana Soraka, though, I don't think.
I haven't seen it, but I believe you're right. I believe she's not. This bot side is going to get a bit shoved in. Oh, and it looks like we're going, though.
No, they're playing Star Guardian Soraka, which actually, because my client is in German for some reason, I discovered that in German it's actually called Star Watcher instead of Star Guardian skins, and also Mundo is Angerborn Mundo instead of Rageborn Mundo is the skin that Benbo's using. So that's good to know.
Small details. I enjoy knowing all of this. So as I said, it looks like we're going to standard start. Oh, it looks like they might be able to find Graves. A bit of damage that's over. This bot side will probably get shoved in. I'm curious to see if Banana is going to be starting and maxing E, which is the new style for Soraka players. A bit abusive. There's not a whole lot of counterplay to the point-and-click silence. And Xayah and Morgana, of course, do not have sustain in their kits. And Morgana has a bit, but let's be honest, if they get a good Soraka E across the pair of them, they're going to take a bit of damage here.
Yeah, especially since you can only black shield one of yourselves instead of both of them. It does mean that if haha I'm 12 by the way shields his ADC, then he himself won't be able to shield himself, and then he will get snared. So it's kind of a catch-22 there if Banana does manage to catch both of them. It's oh yeah, we have to remember to fix our spectator client because EU, and also because spectator client is terrible. Looks like Haha has started the W, which is actually pretty interesting. Good for push, I think.
Yeah, you want to get as many stacks as possible early game on your Morgana and help with the shove. They will be shoved in, Banana and Ezreal. It's just the matchup. Xayah is really quick at pushing in. Morgana helps with her Tormented Soil. And at the same time, you do want to have the control in the jungle, so you can help your jungler secure scuttlers in this meta. On blue side, they have the Aurelion Soul, who will be performing that role to help the jungler. Aurelion Soul has the shove advantage early here. We've got a wet noodle fight going on in the top lane. Quite a bit of damage traded off between these two here.
Yep, for some reason my directed camera decided not to be a directed camera, so that was awfully helpful. I do want to point out here that S8 Jungle actually managed to take the Scuttle Crab despite being 2v1 in that particular situation. I believe he actually used Smite. However, on the side of GCOS, they will take top Scuttle Crab in response. So one Scuttle Crab for each. They're going to be equal on farm here until S8 Jungle picks up his red buff, but now Ship can pick up his blue buff and continue to be on par. Jungle pathing is going to be very, very interesting in this new patch.
Yeah, Graves walking over that revealed area is not ideal for his gank path. He seems to be doubling down and walking into this Mundo. Mundo deciding to put the ward down and has to blow his flash. That was a bit of a risky play. He knew the Graves was there because of the Rift Scuttler vision and still decided to go up in his face. Probably a questionable call there.
Well, again, Mundo's passive does mean he will regenerate a lot of health. So yes, while having to use the flash, not wasting, having to use the flash to get away, does mean that he will not have it later. He will at least be safe, which is the important thing. It's a good buffer on the E there by Hollow to get away from that Morgana Xayah partnership. Even though he did manage to get hit by the snare, that is one thing that Ezreal will have in his favor, is the ability to, if he can react fast enough, buffer his E so that even if he does get snared, he'll still be able to run away. And that minion just disappeared. I was very scared for a second, then I remembered minion dematerializer sort of thing.
Yep. Ezreal deciding to pick up the minion dematerializer so he can try to match some of the minion damage that Xayah can pull out. He's of course single damage, and he doesn't have a whole lot of wave clear, and he's not going to build it into his kit unlike Xayah and other crit 80 carries, so he tries to make do with minion dematerializer. He's already going to be in that tree anyways.
S8 Jungle coming up into the top lane here. They're going to try and get on to Benbow here. They're going to get him awfully loud. That is going to be the flash coming down from KRR1. The actual use of the pillar managed to secure the kill. Now it's going to be a double flash. S8 Jungle will fall to the ignite from Nath. Good use of Event Horizon? Oh, hold on. Oh, and that's another stun onto KRR1. But he will be able to headbutt his way out of there. Actually, I think it's
Yeah.
Militia outed in
having difficulty with words, my friend.
CW and Ship going at each other in the jungle. That's going to be a flash from Haha I'm 12 in the bot lane to try and get on to Hollow. Fights going on all over the map here. I don't mean to cut you off several times, but it's my job to say what's going on.
It's all good. Like we mentioned, Aurelion Sol does have the push pressure. It makes it risky to make plays when Aurelion Sol is not in lane. He immediately matched the topside pressure on the repeat gank. And he was there quickly and actually managed to expend as many summoners as they used to secure that kill. So they got the first blood, but Aurelion Sol doing a lot of work, gets the return kill, comes back. An aggressive flash by Haha 12 to try to get locked down onto the Ezreal. Didn't happen. As we mentioned, Ezreal always safe with his D. He can get out of just about any crowd control ability. So in this lane, he should be prioritizing pressure on the Soraka if at all possible. But Soraka with the barrier makes it a difficult target as well to lock down, because they will be able to take a lot of damage without punishment.
Yeah, one thing, first off, we don't have confirmation on this yet, but according to chat, it is GCOS Banana's birthday, so we're not sure about that yet, but if it is, then happy birthday to him. In any case, up at the top lane, another wet noodle fight. This probably won't come to much unless Benbow can just literally get him to stand still for a couple minutes. But one thing I wanted to ask you, we see Banana picking up this barrier as their secondary summoner spell instead of the heal, which used to be the go-to for Soraka support, and then having Hollow on the ADC pick up the barrier or possibly an ignite. Care to comment on why perhaps the barrier actually looks like you won't be able to, because Nath's coming down on this Aurelion Sol. The spell shield will block the Cosmic Radiance, I think. The stun. It will block the stun. But they will be able to pick up the kill with some mastery spam. I'm 12, by the way. Will fall down. Ship going in on CWL here. Nath is already back up, so they should be able to pick up this kill as well. The bird is in the egg. Nivea will fall. Nath getting another kill. He's 2-0 now.
Yeah, Nath doing work with his Aurelion Sol. He is matching He's going across the map at this point and winning every single one of these lanes. Zach was taking race while he was roaming down and making sure the wave was in a good spot. And Nivea expended all of her mana trying to clear the wave and trying to put pressure on the map. Really Sol and Zach combo. A nasty piece of work, especially the Nivea deciding not to expend her flash to get away from that was a bit questionable. As we mentioned before, Black Shield does help. You survive the stun, you don't get locked into place, but Aurelion Sol doesn't care too much. He does a crap ton of damage with his passive, and with the Soraka and the Ezreal also pitching in to magic damage to break through that shield. You mentioned the barrier on Soraka instead of heal. You take that because, generally speaking, your opponents are going to be taking Ignite one way or another, and you're not going to get full value out of the heal as a Soraka. And you're going to get focused because everybody knows that in the Soraka lane, if you really want to get kills, you have to take out Soraka or you're never going to get anything done.
Nap getting lots of damage off here onto his lane opponent CWL. CWL going to be able to make it out just barely after the Voice of Light and Ignite combo from Nap. Very well done to him. Just barely managed to escape on CWL's side. This Aurelion Sol doing excellent work here.
Yep, Anivia, no blue buff yet to be able to hold it in, to be able to just shove this wave out. Both of them have a lot of wave clear in this matchup, but unfortunately for CWL, this Aurelion Sol is landing his stuns and being able to put a lot of pressure.
Yeah, and I really wish my client wasn't in German so I could figure out what Aurelion Sol's abilities and names are. I know there's Voice of Light and Comment of Legend, and his passive is Center of the Universe, but the other two I could not name for the life of me because it's in German and I haven't seen Aurelion Sol and I don't know how.
Star Surge and Celestial Expansion.
There we go. Star Surge and Celestial Expansion. I got it now. We're good. Alright, Aurelion Sol up in the top lane now. I don't know why Directed Camo is putting us in the bot lane. He does actually go up there, try and land a stun on to Star Surge, excuse me, to KRR1, but a KRR1 will come out there. Looks like it's going to be a free Ocean Dragon pick up for the red team, Brexit Esports Club, though. Good for them. It'll give them some more lane sustain. That will certainly help KRR1 to go up against Benbow's sustain as Mundo.
That also helps CWL just be able to survive this lane and get as much mana back to be able to push it in and at least try to get some damage under this tower when the Aurelion Sol goes up. CWL holding on to this teleport. I haven't seen him make a teleport play to respond yet. Hopefully we see that at some point in this game, because just being able to show up and try to turn these fights around could help a big deal, quite a bit.
Alright, and apparently the Aurelion Sol's name is Nath. It'd be really nice if they would actually spell that correct way. But in any case,
it's Europe, man.
It's Europe, yeah, they don't make sense when they spell things. In any case, not much happening now. Just kind of farming up the lanes. A nice binding there by 12, by the way. Landed. Not much comes from it other than some poke damage, but Banana is Soraka, so they'll be able to...
It does put Soraka in a bit of a dangerous spot, in that she has to walk up here, and if she ever gets...
Ooh, that is going to be the ult, the barrier, and the snare. Going down onto Banana. Exhaust is used. Doesn't end up not killing. It looks like Ship's going to be coming in. He is going to get the flash out, but he still manages to get the thing. The Feather Storm goes down, which means that Ship's ultimate Let's Bounce does not secure the kill. Everyone goes home. That is a lot of summoner spells burned for the red side.
But we have Aurelion Sol lurking about again, looking for another kill. But
he does end up getting snared.
Yeah.
Looks like they are going to try and get some damage onto this tower, though. That would certainly be helpful, but not going to be too much because the minions are kind of in a bad situation for pushing at the moment. I say jungle hanging around as well.
I do like that Anivia took the opportunity to shove in the wave and get it to the tower and deny a bit of farm and get some chip damage out of this tower while this is going on. We knew that Aurelion Sol is going to be roaming a lot. Nothing showing for that one.
Also, the thing to bear in mind is that if things seem a little delayed between the casters and the stream, all three of us have to manually speed up our spectator client every so often because EU is terrible. So, I'm sorry, not EU, the client. This is actually the client's fault. It's not EU's fault in this particular instance. I do apologize. Because the client is terrible, we do need to manually speed it up, all three of us independently. So if there's some slight delay between the three of us, do forgive us. We're trying to do what we can to work around Riot's limitations. Small indie company, by the way.
Vision control, they should see Aurelion Sol roaming down here. Then Nate is walking over a ward there on his way down, so should be fine. They respect it and pull back quickly on the bot side and manage to keep their vision control. I like that they have vision in the path that Aurelion Sol is likely to take. If we look at how this game is going right now, I'm hoping to see a team fight breakout soon for some of these objectives that'll be coming up. Rift Herald seems to have already been taken. I don't even remember seeing that happen, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that was actually during one of the various lag outs that happened in the client, small indie company, by the way. And so we didn't actually get to see that, but that was actually picked up by Ship here. He does want to use that very soon because it's only got a couple seconds left on the duration of it, so he's gonna want to make sure to use that soon, otherwise it will time out. And that happened to me in a game last night and it was not fun. All right, it looks like they're going to be able to spot out Nathan coming down here. Like you said, they got that vision in the river. Make sure that they can spot out that Aurelion Sol as he comes down. But the top side, absolutely no vision. So maybe he could try going up instead of down next time, though may be difficult for him to try and get a kill onto KR. Rift Herald is popped in the bot lane.
Yep, they'd have a bit of a wave here. So it's way down, and Graves is going to try to match as quickly as possible, but it looks like they'll be able to get this tower with the help of Shelly here.
Ship going in, there's going to be a huge fight coming down. The Dark Binding does go down, but the Ezreal does manage to pick up the kill. KR1 teleports in and is able to pick up the Ezreal. SA Jungle is trying to flash onto Banana to try and pick him up. He will actually fall down to Ship, who manages to get the elastic sting shot up. Sadism does go off, which means that Benbow is fine. CWL and KRR1 are trying to go down. The elastic slingshot does go down again, but Ship getting awfully low here. CWL very, very low as well. Benbow taking up the tower. He's getting pretty low. Meanwhile, Shelly is tanking the tower like nobody's business. Eggnivia popping out, but CWL will be fine. Ship is very tiny and Benbow is very low, but everyone else will be able to walk away fine.
Every teleport used on the map to get to the team fight, not able to keep the tower up, and looks like a 3 for 2 by the looks of it at the end of the day. Aurelion Sol getting to the fight early. Graves picking up 2 kills on Soraka in the cleanup duty. Aurelion Sol relatively untouched in these team fights and being able to do consistent damage with his passive expansion. Completely out of mana now after all of that. Anivia went down with her passive. Shelly actually
Polo up here in the top lane, taking on Teoni. They will be able to pick up that kill fairly quickly. Question mark things going down as the Nana picks up the kill. This is why you don't sub people in, they'll steal your kills. But
let's be honest here, Soraka is the real carry in this lane. Obviously.
As you were saying.
Unfortunately, Xayah gets caught out trying to farm the wave, not with absolutely zero vision in this top side. A bit of a old school double lift style of wave management. You have to respect that if there's darkness, you probably don't want to be past the river, and especially against an Ezreal who can clearly walk up on you like that with his heat. Teoni not using any of their summoners either, so I'm surprised they didn't use any in the team fight preceding either, so just accepting their fate.
There's the elastic slingshot, does actually manage to hit the blast cone with his Q. Haha, I'm 12, will fall down to Hollow here. Heal does go off, but it is not not enough. It actually is Nath who's managed to pick up the kill. Less bounce does not hit anyone. Ship goes the wrong direction. He's going to have to elastic slingshot out the walls off Hollow for just a second, but he will be able to get out. Benbow and KRR1 having their own little battle here. The True Shot Barrage barely not taking down S8 Jungle. Now Ship is going to actually pop his passive Cell Division. S8 Jungle still very low. Hollow trying to pick him up. He does end up getting stunned by CWL, but he will be able to walk away despite taking almost half his health and damage from a single QE combo through CWL. S8 Jungle still very low, but it looks like the teams are going to reset. The GCOS heading towards the mid.
At the end of the day, GCOS manages and put more pressure on to red side here, getting a vision slowly but surely inside their jungle area to try to deny. They only have this last mid tower still standing. If I'm Anivia, I'm putting all my resources into trying to keep it. Of course, it's risky with the Aurelion Soul and the Zac engage, but Zac has lost his passive, so it makes it riskier to engage. If he goes down, he will pay the price instead of being blobbed.
Indeed. It does look like the lanes are going to more or less reset here to middle. Do want to take a look at the gold here real quick, see if we can figure out where this massive gold lead's coming from. It's actually focused most definitely. Oh, looks like Nate's actually getting caught out here by a combination of CWL and Haha12, by the way. CWL will pick up the kill following a mastery flash by Haha12. Nate does get his first death.
Good work by the Anivia to use the wall to force the Aurelion Soul stun. Good follow up by Morgana, and unfortunately, he does not have an egg to fall back on when he gets chunked out, unlike this Anivia. So, damage traded onto this tower in exchange for being able to pick up the Aurelion Soul. Ignite is a bit of an aggressive choice for an Aurelion Soul. Generally speaking, I see a lot of smites. I see barriers and heals. Generally speaking, since you're going to be in a relatively close range, you want a bit of a defensive summoner spells to help you survive in these team fights. But so far, so good for Nate. He's a big boy in this game.
Yeah, he will certainly do his best to continue to stay ahead. Things are happening again. I'm really starting to get annoyed by the client constantly lagging out. Makes it very, very difficult to play-by-play cast. For anyone out there who wants to be a play-by-play caster, do not cast on a different region than where you are. It's very, very difficult.
We've got blue side engaging, trying to take out this last tower.
Ship going to get dark binded, not light binded. That's Lux. The Shatter Star there by Nate going to zone them out. Holy crap, what the hell was that damage? That goes down, Season 8 Jungle. Fight's breaking out, Featherstorm goes down, followed by Less Bounce. In goes KRR1. Stun goes off onto Benbow. That's not the target you want to hit with that stun there, CW. No one else falls. S8 Jungle got obliterated though. What did he get hit with? He just lost half his health randomly.
Aurelion Soul stun and the Soraka silence that's actually contributing to chunking it out. CWL dangerously walking forward there. He needs to
Elastic
be
Slingshot
careful.
being charged up here by Ship. He's waiting for something to happen, but the enemy team does spot him out with that blue ward. They're going to play safe here. They should be able to hold this tower for a minute.
S8 Jungle is back up onto the map and coming across with the Anivia wave click. They should be able to clear this out without taking too much damage onto the tower. So unless Ship wants to die between two towers, they should be able to keep this tower alive. Although it looks like the side wave pressure might be getting to them here. Xayah has to peel off to take care of the top side, and we've got another big wave building up in the bot side. Dragon is spawning as well, so they have to clear these waves and do it quickly because they are being pressured across the map, and they're going to be choked out of farm if they don't respond.
That's definitely something that may happen here. I do think that blue team should continue this stranglehold, like you were saying. This is something that's going very, very well for them. They are going to back off in this instance. They don't have a whole lot of siege potential. They do have Hollow and Banana, who are very, very good at sieging, but other than that, plus the wave clear from the red team here, Brexit Esports Club. I like saying that. But no, their red team's wave clear is very, very good, so they are going to have a lot of trouble sieging out towers here.
It feels like a bit of a missed opportunity. The one thing I will say that's probably worked in Brexit Esports Club's favor is the fact that they have these 2 ocean drakes, and they've been able to control these drakes for the most part. Of course, as I say this, the Infernal is about to go over, which is probably the one you want the most when you're trying to scale up into the game. But good control by the blue side here, picking that up. They do need to try to get vision again, because right now red side is pretty much stuck inside their own jungle, and they haven't been able to take any of these towers. So there's a lot of gold on the map for them to take if they can ever break these siege. And they're not going to be able to do that unless they get a good engage, or Zach messes up his own engage and they can get onto the Aurelion Soul, the Soraka, and the Ezreal here.
Very, very true. One thing I want to ask you about is Nate's choice of third item here. It looks like he's either going for Spellbinder or for Morello's. Do you care to comment on that? Because I see he's already got the Rylai's Crystal Scepter. Would he not normally go for Liandry's, or is that no longer something that happens in the meta?
Generally speaking, you do still go Liandry's, but I think what's been happening lately in pro play is the double pen is really powerful at the moment. Of course, he doesn't even have the pen boots, so I'm kind of curious why the Oblivion Orb. I haven't seen a whole lot of Aurelion Soul, except for a few players here and there, because he is kind of an oddity in his playstyle.
Where's Huhi when you need him?
Alright, I'm sure he'd have all the answers.
Yes. Huhi, help us! But no, yeah, it is kind of interesting. I would like to see Spellbinding Orb come out, but I doubt we'll see that on Aurelion Soul. But I haven't seen that item basically ever. So it'd be nice to be able to see it actually used in an actual 5v5 game, but I don't think we'll be seeing that come out here. Looks like Baron Vision is going to be the next thing that's set up for these two teams.
Yep, both teams dropping pinks inside the pit to try to control it. Of course, blue side has the easier access since the wall is right there, and it looks like they're starting it up. Ornn is on the bot side, and he's going to be teleporting in deep in a risky spot.
It looks like the Elastic Slingshot gauge goes in while we're lagged out. The Featherstorm does go down, followed by the Flash, which means that Tayoni will be able to get out. The Ornn ultimate Call of the Forge God does mean he will get out safely. Wish goes down to ensure that Banana does not fall. Man, having Soraka in these fights certainly does make it very hard to kill people. The Flash Ledge Bounce does not catch anyone. The Flash Cleaver does not catch anyone. The Shatterstar Flash does manage to catch CWL. He will go into egg form. Elastic Slingshot does hit him. Chip is in the back line, but he is by himself other than Benbow. He will get awfully low. His passive will pop. Zelda Vision is down now. KR1 getting very low. He does get black shielded to make sure he does stay alive. Tayoni is able to pick up the Benbow, and Ship does fall as well. 2-0 in favor of Brexit Esports Club.
These fights are eternal. Nobody dies because of passive. Zac passive, Nivea passive, Soraka heals, black shields, Feather Storms, almost every ability in the game here. It's meant to keep people alive. I thought for sure the Xayah was going to go down early in that fight when she got picked off, but the Feather Storm keeps her safe. Aurelion Sol with a really good re-engage with the star flash over the wall to chase after people, but unfortunately, passive from Anivia keeps her safe, and the only thing that frontline gets taken out while they're trying to chase aggressively.
Yeah, a very nice thing here that is shown in this game, though, is the tenacity of these players is being able to continue to fight through these extended fights. Like, going in and continuing to pound down on these tanky tanks with the revive passives, with Mundo with his ultimate, all these things, being able to continually fight and continually pump out rotational damage, even though everyone's continuously healing and continuously reviving, certainly shows a level of tenacity that a lot of players should really hope to emulate, because when it comes to those extended trades, if you just, do one full rotation and it's like, oh, they should be dead, and then you just walk away and they're not dead, well, then, that's not going to be very optimal. So props to them for continuing to fight.
At the end of the day, though, blue side maintained their pressure for that fight. Despite winning the fight, Brexit Esports was not able to get any vision control back or any of the objectives, and Anivia is on the bot side.
RR1 going in here. Elastic Slingshot does go down onto 3. Call the Forge God does not matter. Let's bounce. Allow Ship to pick up. I'm 12. He is very low, but thanks to the Soraka, he will survive. KRR1 and 12, by the way, do fall down in that fight. Those are their primary forms of engages, so this Baron should be relatively free here. 3v5, though Team GCOS is rather low. Benbow getting awfully low here. He does not have his ultimate. He's going to be completely relying on the Soraka heals, and it is not enough. End of the line does pick him. Oh wait, no, it's collateral damage. Yeah.
I'm a bit confused why Ship is just standing off in the bush and not tanking that when the Mundo is there, and they seem a bit disjointed in their calls. If you want to take the Baron, take the Baron. Don't try to chill in the bush when you're the main tank at this point. Zach hiding. A bit confusing, and it gives Brexit Esports the opportunity to clear out some of the pinks and some of the control that they had on this wave. Of course, now Anivia and Ornn do not have their teleports up for this next fight, so wave position and wave control is going to be important here.
It looks like it's going to be a third Ocean Drake for Brexit Esports Club. It was actually very good of them, even though they did they did lose 2 members there. They did manage to stop the Baron attempt. So that means that the game resets, and because they're actually just 2,000 gold behind, and at 30 minutes, that's not a significant margin. So
no, but
very well done for them.
There is a lot of gold on the map for Brexit Esports Club to be able to catch up. They've got the 2 side towers still standing. As well as this Baron that's still available. As long as they don't that Baron, they can wave clear easy enough and try to get to the late game. Or an engage in the late game is always going to be really strong. Since it's up on a 40-second cooldown, you can throw that out there willy-nilly as long as you're still alive to knock it back into their team's face. Ideally, he should be looking to go after the Soraka, get a knock up onto the Soraka and take her out, get rid of some of their healing, which is making these team fights incredibly hard. BEC is going to scale into this game, and Anivia late game is a force to be reckoned with. Her wave clear and the ability to throw out those E's at a rocket fire pace. But of course, Mundo is going to keep becoming tankier and tankier. He's not going to have the initiation, but he will be a meat sack. That's just going to be an immovable object. Especially because he can run down the Xayah and the Morgana with relative ease. Ornn can't really fight him after a point either, unless he is itemizing correctly, which let's take a look. No, he does not have any ability to shred through his healing. No healing reduction currently on the top side. Xayah does have Executioner's Calling, which will help a little bit, but even with that, the buffs that they gave Mundo made it so his healing now is stronger through Executioner's Calling than it used to be entirely.
Yeah, it's certainly definitely going to be a difficult meat sack to crack. I do want to point out here that Nath has finished the Morellos. He is now going in for the Leandries. Banana trying really hard to pick up this pink ward. It's actually not a pink ward anymore. It is in fact a red ward. Elastic Slingshot does go down. 12, by the way, will not get caught by any of those abilities. Thank you, Black Shield. Everyone walks away. Though they are posturing around Baron still. We could definitely see a Baron fight soon, so let's remember to not get into too deep of a conversation just yet, because probably need to start yelling at things in a second here. Make sure my client is up to date.
Yeah, Zach Let's Bounce and Soraka Wish expended there as Banana got caught by the risky position to be in, so I had to use the ultimate to get out and make sure that she's safe. At this point, if I'm a red side, I'm looking to push and try to get a fight, especially clear out this vision. Aurelian Soul, not the best candidate to clear out Pit because his stars will always trigger Baron aggro.
Yeah,
It's a bit unfortunate for him there.
bit of a problem.
Yeah. So at this point, they don't really have vision of the blue side. They don't have control of this river, and the wave position is always resetting. It's not in a great position. So despite the fact that 2 members of GCOS recalled, they had no idea. They didn't know that it was happening, and they didn't have the opportunity to go there and reestablish vision as a group, which is problematic.
Yeah, especially with that one red side green ward going down. It's not even green wards anymore. Why did they keep changing the wards? I mean, we called them green wards and pink wards. They don't even exist anymore.
Old habits die hard.
I know. You remember when supports used to get a free ward from their masteries? Those were the days. Those were the
I
days,
actually
man.
don't remember that, and I've been playing. There's been too many.
Yeah, it was
God.
season 4, I believe. The support masteries gave you a free ward and biscuits. That was when the total biscuit of regeneration.
Everlasting.
It's actually not. It's not actually called the total biscuit of everlasting life back then. It's called total biscuit regeneration. Looks like the fight is not going to happen here. True Shot Barrage does go down. CWL going to take some damage there.
I'm a bit
Just
confused.
like the shows on CW did get some damage done last fall.
They pushed aggressively as a team in the rift, and then they completely neglected to clear pink that's in the Baron pit. It's like these 2 teams are okay with each of them having their little square of the Baron pit. They're happy with the way that things are going right now. Instead of trying to choke out the other team, they're both in a bit of a holding pattern here.
Also, is Ezreal's red buff just kind of floating next to him for you? Because on my screen, he's just kind of got this red circle like next to him instead of under him. It's kind of wigging me out.
I think my client is boosted trash than yours is at the moment, my friend.
Okay.
Yeah. We've got it seconded for prioritize that. If I'm Brexit Esports, I don't want to give them a second Infernal Drake. And if I'm GCOS, I don't want a 4-stack Drake Elder spawning in 10 minutes either. So
It doesn't take 10 minutes to spawn. Jesus.
6 minutes.
Ugh. I keep forgetting how long these games actually last when you're just watching them, you know? Because like when you're in the game, it's just like, wow, Elder already. But no, when you're spectating a game, it can take forever to come out. Just like it's gonna take forever to get down this Baron for Team GCOS without any sort of percent health damage. Don't have a Vayne. Even their ADC really does not have much. The fight's going down. That's going to be a flash by CWL. He doesn't have any movement options left to him now because the Shirelles has been popped too. That's going to mean the next fight is going to be a very immobile CWL Anivia. Very, very dangerous.
Yep, Anivia using the flash despite the shield being put on. Bit of a waste of resources there, and it puts her in a dangerous spot for this next team fight, as you said. Ezreal clearing the wave in the bot side with his ultimate, trying to maintain pressure on the map and not lose too much. Nobody wants to respond to that in case they lose the Baron. At the same time, the Elder is in fact spawned, and seems like a nice tasty morsel for Brexit Esports to be able to go and pick up, but if they do that, they will be losing Baron for sure, and that is not a situation you want to be in, because your Anivia is not going to have a very fun time clearing those minion-empowered waves.
Wait, I thought it was an Infernal Drake.
I thought it was too, but my client apparently quite terrible as well.
I think it's some kind of weird interaction if it spawns directly at 35 minutes. I don't know. In any case, it is an Elder Drake, but they do want to play around that a little bit. Elder Drake very, very strong right now, especially with the recent changes. I believe it was patch 8.5 or 8.6, where they changed how Elder Drake works. The second Elder Drake is actually even more powerful than the first, and so on and so forth. It helps to close out games that do go past that 50-minute mark. So with these two teams both having a fair bit of objective control, whoever picks up that first one is going to be in an excellent position to pick up the second one as well.
Right, and Brexit Esports has the advantage of having 3 Drakes to be able to buff up. Of course, there are Ocean Drakes. They're not Infernals, unfortunately. At this point, it feels like nobody is really willing to pull the trigger on a fight. We've seen pink wards cleared out of this pit for the better part of 15 minutes, and despite these two teams having hard engage, no one willing to pull the trigger. Anivia
The Forge God does end up going down here, but it is not going to do much. Teleport's going down. That is Anivia's teleport. KRR1 does manage to fall. Anivia's in the middle, but he still does not have flash. Haha 12, by the way, does fall down. Looks like blue team is going to take over here. GCOS going to be able to pick up CWL through the egg. Egg Nivea does not matter. That is a shutdown for Benbo's Mundos. He's going to go where he please, straight down the mid lane and take this tower. They don't even need Baron. They can just take towers with this team. They got a cannon minion with the thing. Ship is diving, their inhibitor. The Hollow's going in. He's going to flash and try and get onto that guy, but he's not going to be able to get onto that guy, whose name is something that I cannot pronounce in the moment, so I'm going to call him Zaya. That inhibitor tower does fall. The inhibitor will fall as well. They pick up 2 towers and an inhibitor for not even picking up the Baron. Now they will go for the Elder Drake. They will get spotted out. There is a red team Brexit ward. Brexit ward, that'd be fun. Just a ward that says that it wants to leave the EU. Ward on the dragon. They're going to try and pick this up here. This will go down a lot quicker than the Baron will.
I'd like to just throw a call back to the earlier Ezreal ult on bot wave. When he cleared out the bot wave, it ended up taking out half of the wave, and it ended up creating a slow push on the bot side, which ends up with a trick. It's basically a timer you're on. Somebody had to respond to the bot side as well, because that huge wave ended up making its way to the bot side and taking out the tower on its own, just from that earlier setup. Unfortunately, Ornn was way too far forward in that team fight. He kind of put himself in a position where nobody else could help out. The Anivia had to teleport into that fight and make her way over. By the time she was there, the Ornn was already dead. So did not have the opportunity to have a full front-to-back team fight. It's difficult when you have a Mundo literally running through your entire team with nobody to stop him. At that point, you have to absorb the pressure from the Mundo somehow, and the Ornn was already dead at that point. So now we've got Elder buff, we've got an inhib down in the mid lane, and this should be a relatively free pickup for the Baron.
Yeah, but they do not want to posture around this too long, because their Elder buff won't last too long. If it starts to take a longer period of time, they do want to back off of this, but it does look like Brexit is not going to be able to do much here. SA Jungle may be able to force 50-50, and he does pick it up! He's going to be able to get out with the collateral damage! And that is a Baron for Brexit. They're going to Brexit their way back to base and stop that inhibitor from getting hit. They do pick up the Baron, no one falls. Very well done by Season 8 Jungle. He lives up to his name.
Buys them a bit more time. At this point though, I'm not sure, since the Elder Drake win condition ends up getting taken away. A smart choice, by the way, by GCOS to pick that up first. Although I'm pretty sure if they had managed to take out the Baron, they would have been able to pick up a second inhib for their troubles. They are going to try to shove in this tower.
Going in with the Elastic Slingshot into the less bounce. The team fight does erupt here. CWL will fall on the backside. Call the Forge God does go down. It hits 3. KRR1 is getting very low. He has to flash out. So far, 1 for 0. There is a tower in the bot side that's gone down. That was actually the outer tower on the side of the blue team. Everyone will back off. 1 for 0 exchange. That's 1 Baron buff down. Actually, Benbow did fall in there. I forgot. So, that's actually a 1 for 1 exchange. So completely fine for the side of Brexit Esports Club. They don't lose anything. They actually managed to pick up a tower, which is a tiny bit of gold for them. And they get a kill off of it. Literally everyone gets an assist. They're able to reset here. The Elder Drake buff has run out. They are now the onus is now on them to push out these lanes and get this game back into the start. And they will be scaling up now. This is the point at which the Nivea will start to shine. The Ornn's going to be basically as unkillable as Benbow on this Mundo. Graves is kind of an early game jungler, but he'll still be able to do damage. And Teoni is going to be full build relatively soon once they pick up that Lord Dominic, no, Mortal Reminder. Then they will be full build. Things are going to be fun.
Right, and with that, I think it's 8 minutes from now, we'll have second Elder Dragon respawn, and we'll have another fight. If GCOS picks it up, it's going to be really hard for a one-team fight to matter. It's going to be a one-team fight and done. This Mundo is going to do so much damage just running at people with those cleavers, and ideally he won't be running between two towers like this last team fight, and he'll be able to at least get somebody down really quickly. The initiation last time in the top side team fight was a bit rough. Zach coming in while nobody was in position to really support. Mundo will be able to push. It looks like we've got a pair of bannered minions just wet noodling it up in the top side.
Yeah, this is going to be kind of a boring fight until Benbow just decides to go completely man mode. But the Baron cannon minion will certainly take down a regular banner minion in the end. This is honestly, the banner change was one of the most boring changes Riot has ever done, but both of them do end up falling within a second of each other, so it's going to reset here. However, Baron buff still on for Team Brexit. It will be timing out here in just a second, though.
We've got the inhibitor respawned in the mid lane, so this is the only thing that's going on here. They don't have to worry about wave of super minions crashing bot
There's
side.
that true shot barrage going down again to try and get that slow push going. It's actually a slow push going for Brexit in the bot lane. However,
it's gonna accelerate for the other side now.
Yeah.
GCOS is going to push that. That wave's going to push quickly.
things are happening 45 minutes in, 15-8. About a 3,000 gold difference, which means absolutely no gold difference between the team. Ship does get caught out. Elastic Slingshot is not going to go out in time. Zelda Vision does mean he will not fall just yet until Call of Forgage hit him. Excuse me. Teleport from Benbow does not mean anything. Dark Binding does mean he does fall as well. The rest of the team does look like they're going to be able to get out of that. I just remembered you could press A to do a different looking team fight camera. That's kind of cool.
Bit of a greedy play by Ship. He sat on his flash. The silence, he needed to get out of there instantly. The silence and the Morgana binding and the Nivea Q managed to interrupt his elastic slingshot and prevent him from getting out of that fight. And he needed to flash there. He got caught and unfortunately goes down, and Mundo goes with him and puts all the pressure back in Brexit Esports' favor here.
Yeah, that is going to be very, very good for Brexit here. They've got the siege. The flash goes down, but fails by Nate. He will fall. That is very important. He is their major form of wave clear, pretty much their only form of AoE wave clear. Call the Forge God does hit onto Banana. Banana will speed away using Shirelia's. Ultimate does go down, but they do pick up an inner tower. That is a massive wave in the bot lane, however, for GCOS. They're going to need to handle that. And now, for some controversial Dragon commentary, Dragon's going to be up in about a minute. This is the second Elder Dragon. If GCOS can pick this up, it is going to be huge for their team fight, but Baron is also up in a minute in 20, so it could easily be a trade of objectives. They need to decide how they want to play this very carefully. CWL getting caught out here by the elastic slingshot from Ship. He will probably not survive this. He will definitely not survive this, as Benbow flashes over the wall to follow him. CWL doing his best Caps impression. Baby Faker trying to dodge all the skill shots. It will not work. Egg Nivea means he will go down. He is actually not going to go down. He survives at just over 200 health. Now it is Benbow going to fell. Ship actually manages to take him down with, I think, the Krugs. Call of the Forge God is already back up. That does hit Banana again. The redemption does go down to mean that he is still at full health, but Banana's just trying to get away here now. That's going to be a, haha, I'm 12 falling on this Morgana. Everyone's getting very, very low now. Hollow trying to pull off a reckless and go in. Nath at basically no health. That's a double kill. Double killing for both Nath and Hollow.
Wow.
Ace for one.
Massive over-aggression by KRR1. Flashing forward with the Call of the Forge God, trying to land the E, ends up baiting his team into a bad spot while the Aurelion Soul respawns and rejoins the fight in a hurry. The Ezreal ultimate used repeatedly on waves to get slow pushes set up, and if you look at this bot side tower, it's got barely nothing left, but at this point, it doesn't seem like they really care about the towers. They're going to pick up the inhib, and they're going to make their way over to the Baron. Keep in mind, ideally they should be going for this second Elder Drake, which is a huge buff when you get the second one going, but maybe they'll be able to pick up both. We'll see how this goes.
Yeah, this is kind of an important choice here. Now, optimally speaking, they should go for the Elder first. It takes less time to take down because it has less health. They should be able to take that down first and then pick up the Baron after, since the Elder Drake buff will make taking the Baron that much quicker. However, because they all decide to back here, if Team Brexit is able to set up on the Elder Drake fast enough, they might be able to take this before Team GCOS can get into position. That really depends on how they set up here. It looks like SA Jungle is actually going to go for his Wolves. Now both teams will get here at the same time. This favors GCOS. Their lanes are pushing, so they cannot. So Team Brexit cannot posture for too long in this instance. It's going to be very, very difficult to pick this up unless Season 8 Jungle picks up another amazing 50-50.
That Scrying plant was actually instrumental in clearing out almost all of the vision scuttle that they managed to pick up early. It's a good thing they managed to get there quickly to pick up that scuttle, otherwise they'd be completely blind after the Scrying orb.
Call of the Forge God does miss everyone. Teamfight is about to erupt here. Brexit has to do something or the game will be lost here. Instead, it is Team GCOS picking up 3 off an amazing Elastic Sling shot into
Risky position,
Let's Bounce.
Fighting in completely choked off in this tiny little pit, the tiny little ramp. Amazing elastic slingshot by ships as Zach manages to pick people up, and now it's just going to be a simple case of being run down. It's going to be really hard to do anything against the double. Well, managed to pick up 1 for 1, but that's all going to be for naught.
Yeah, we're just kind of like, okay, well that happened. But no, that is going to be the end of the game here. Game 1 does go to GCOS. This is a best of 3 series, but they do take game number 1. We will be switching sides for game number 2. We'll have to see whether, as Banana runs away from the Nexus, whether Team Brexit Esports can channel their inner running through the fields of Theresa May to run it back during game 2, or whether GCOS will take the clean 2-0 sweep over their opponents.
Brexit Esports Club managed to hold on for a long time in this game. A really clean steal by S8 Jungle managed to delay their demise for a little bit. Some cleaner choices could have been made by both sides in terms of prioritizing objectives. Really good work by Holo to Ezreal ult the waves and managed to pick up a lot of pressure on the map on these towers. Managed to get a free tower. Always had the waves going in a right way that they wanted it to help whenever they're contesting objectives. Ideally, KRR1 less aggressive on his engages, stays close to his team, and does his peeling job instead of diving aggressively like we've seen here. CWL instrumental in holding off these waves. I'm curious to see what they're going to pull out for the next game.
Yeah, I too am actually very interested to see. It's definitely going to be an interesting situation for both teams to see who manages to pick up this second game. My client froze, I apologize. So with that being said, we are going to go into a short break, hopefully not too long of a break, so that we can get into this game 2 and see more League of Legends actions here with Learning Fives. Once again, this is the EU West Tournament Finals of the March 2018 Learning Fives split. My name is Can Opener Dude. I was joined here by Belkarama. We're going to take a break here before we come back with game 2 of Team GCOS versus Brexit Esports Club. Stay with us. We'll be back soon.
Can't you hear me? Am I fading away? Scared to breathe me, runs the memory away. Can't you see me? Like that mysterious pain. Can't you hear me? Like that mysterious pain. Can't you see me? Can't you hear me? Like that mysterious pain. You can take your time. You can choose your words. Let me down real easy. Let me down real easy. Well, I'm doing just fine. Because I caught your lies. You say that it's you, not me. Baby, now that I am silence reach. Babe, I'm real quiet. Babe, I'm real quiet. I am the calm inside the storm, and I am the peace inside the war. Your confessions took their toll, but baby, I am in my ground. I've been working way too long just to tear it down. Hold my head up proud as you stare into my eyes. I scream it loud because we ain't going nowhere, going nowhere, going nowhere. We ain't going nowhere, going nowhere, going nowhere. We ain't going nowhere, going nowhere, going nowhere. We ain't going nowhere, going nowhere, going as I fall from the clouds, as I push my legs, they hold me to the ground. Hold my head up proud as you stare into my eyes. I scream it loud because we ain't going nowhere.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Excuse me. Oh crap! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the EUS tournament finals between GCOS and Brexit Esports Club. My name is Can Opener Dude. I'm joined here by Wei Zhao
Hello.
and not Belkarama, unless they morph together. And we are actually going to continue to not be here as we have been kicked out of the Champion Select. Looks like their jungler had some problems.
Yikes.
Yeah, he didn't get into Champion Select, so Strimmer, should we just keep talking or should we continue or should we go back to music? Okay. All right, so
Tell me
as
how
an-
it happened.
as an update as what happened last game, so it was a pretty very, very close game within 3,000 gold for pretty much the entire game. What ended up happening that though is GCOS managed to assert some pretty significant team fights as the game approached the 40-minute mark and past the 40-minute mark. Then once that happened, they were able to pick up the Baron, turn around, fight one more team fight, pick up the Elder Drake off the back of an amazing engage from Ship, push in, and take the game. Now, we did see S8 Jungle, the jungler on the other team, the team Brexit. He was able to pick up an amazing Baron steal the first time around, so he's no pushover, but I am definitely interested to see how Ship goes about playing this second game. It's certainly going to be interesting. He is going to be getting that there is going to be a Zac in this game, but it's actually going to be played by S8 Jungle this time, so he's going to have even more capability for Baron steals going forward.
Spoilers.
Yeah,
The audience hasn't seen it yet.
Yeah, well, I don't care what the audience hasn't seen. So,
Dang.
in any case, we have the pro draft pulled up here, so we can see what the what's going to be happening going forward. So, with that being said, I think the major thing going into this game is bouncing back for Brexit. They were playing a very, very close game. They just need to be a little bit better on their team fight and on their objective control. I mean, you were what I saw you in chat, even though I'm not
Yeah.
supposed to be reading chat. I
Uh-oh.
did see you, so give you obviously saw most of the game. So give us a little bit of rundown of what you thought.
Yeah, so what I thought was that I think Brexit definitely had the stronger team comp going into the late games. They did have the Nivea, they did have the Zai, and they were getting pushed in consistently towards their towers. They did have wave clear in the later stages of the game. I think the reason why they lost that game more so than anything else was just the fact that they were overcommitting on fights. Like earlier in the game, around Baron Pit, you could see that Orin overextended. You know, he flashed in, didn't land any kind of CC. You know, I guess that would be really the story of the game, where they had the scaling comp, they had the comp that would be doing better into the late game, but they failed to execute properly.
All right, I can definitely agree with you there. The execution is definitely the point that both of these teams can actually do a fair bit of improvement on. We do see the Aurelion Soul getting banned out against Nath. He played an excellent Aurelion Soul last game. It was one of the main factors behind the win. The amount of engages he got off in the early game were
Mhm.
ridiculous. But yeah, that being said, I think execution going forward is going to be very important, making sure that they secure the objectives, that they don't get stolen away, and that they can continue to posture around those objectives effectively instead of just dancing around Baron for 15 minutes, which was something that did happen in the last game, and certainly not something you want to have happen, because then your side waves are just going to continue to get pushed in, and it's not a fun time. So these first 6 bans, we see Aurelion Soul, Azir, Kaisa, Ezreal, Swain, and Anivia. Some adaptation bans coming through here, as well as some new ones, as well as Cho'Gath and Ornn being our top laners for this game.
Yeah, I definitely think that the Nivea ban was really good, because while Brexit did lose on the pick, I think Glorious Capital Skype really did realize that if they were to lose that game, if they didn't win that game, the reason would be the Nivea, because she essentially has infinite wave clear in a lane if she isn't stopped and if they don't overextend. So we can see that there's a tank matchup in the top lane. Ornn's going to have a really nice time into Cho'Gath, actually, so I really like that pick against their Cho'Gath. And we can also see that GCOS might be going for a more early game style, because they did pick up the Trundle. He's going to be out farming the Zac in the early game. He can look for skirmishes, play around River some more, play around the Scuttle. And I think what's an interesting pick is the fact that Brexit did go for the Ahri in the mid lane, so we might see some more action in the early game, since Ahri is a really capable assassin.
Now, one thing to bear in mind is that they are going against Malzahar. Nath playing this Malzahar is a very similar play style to the Aurelion Soul, just kind of, other than the roaming, of course, just kind of play back, farm, don't try anything too crazy in lane, because you don't really have the kind of lane pressure that most of these assassins do have. So it's going to be interesting to see how Nath plays this Malzahar versus CWL, who was playing a very safe wave clear champion as well last game in the Anivia. Now, one thing I do want to point out, we are calling them GCOS instead of their previous name, due to some changes in their support staff, quote unquote. So going forward, we just want to say GCOS. But other than that, we will see the rest of the teams being locked in here. This is going to end up being an Alistar once Cardonos picks his champion. Yeah, and we do actually have the pro draft in chat, so I can tell people what they are no matter what stage of the band they're at. So there. It's going to be the Rakan on the other side. I think Alistar may actually be better off in this situation, but having a double range versus an Alistar is kind of annoying for Alistar, but this is their standard support. They're no longer running their banana. So instead, they will have the regular support. Should be a little bit more synergy on their side. Should be fun to see.
Yeah, I think bot lane is really going to be an interesting lane to look at because both sides have a lot of strong engage. Alistair has his headbutt pulverize combo. Rakan obviously has his ultimate, his quickness, as well as his W, which can knock people up. I think something interesting that you mentioned was that you mentioned that Caitlyn Rakan has an advantage. I think that is true for the early levels, but we want to be looking bot lane because level 6 is when both sides of the bot lane are looking to explode. Rakan has his ultimate, then he's going to be looking at going. Alistair also has his unbreakable, which also might make him posture around, looking more aggressive, looking for an engage. And I think both sides are going to look to play around bot side because Malzahar does have a lot of roam potential. You compared him to Aurelion Sol earlier, and both champs have a lot of potential to make plays happen other sides of the map. Aurelion Sol can make that happen with his extreme roaming prowess, and Malzahar can make that happen with his skill button, his ultimate, flash R, really lock down a target, get that early game kill. And Ari also wants to be looking to impact the side lanes as an assassin. So we might be seeing a lot of tussling down the bot lane this game.
Yeah, I certainly agree that a lot of tossling will certainly happen. That is going to be the focus for both these teams trying to get their ADC ahead because while CWL can certainly carry, it's going to be up to this Caitlyn to carry on the side of Brexit. And on the other side, Xayah is really their only source of significant damage. Malzahar obviously will lock down a target and do damage over time, but he doesn't have that burst or that sustained damage that an ADC will have. So these ADCs certainly are going to be the focus of both of those teams. And when I said and when I talked about Caitlyn Rakan, I was more talking about level 1, 2, and possibly 3 until
yeah.
Alistar gets his full combo. Because up until that point, having double range is going to make it very, very difficult for him to proc those relic shields, which is optimal, and also to try and get just a walk-up pulverize. So he will have to either use his flash or wait until he can get the full combo off with his WQ, and then possibly the E follow-up as well.
Right.
So that's really all it comes down to is those first 2-3 levels are certainly going to be a toss-up, and once we get past that point, the Alistar will certainly show his worth as well as the roams from Malzahar and possibly Ari as well. CWL, we cannot discount the mobility of Ari in being able to get down into that bot lane and land a clutch charm. So with that said, we're going to count down the last few seconds of the spectator delay and get into game 2 here of our EU West finals of the Learning Fives March 2018 season between Team Brexit Esports, now on the blue side, and Team GCOS, now on the red side. It is 1-0 in favor of GCOS. If they win another game, they will become the EU champions of Learning Fives. So we will have to see what happens. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a bit. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are now in game for game 2 of the EU West. And EU West tournament finals of Learning 5. I'm sorry, I just saw /pause in the chat, but it didn't go off, so that's fine. We are Can Opener Dude, joined here by Wei Zhao. We are going to be playing this. We're not going to be playing this game. We're going to be casting this game. We're playing! Hello! But no, we're going to be casting this game. It is the tournament finals for EU West Game 2 between Brexit Esports and Team GCOS. Game 1 did go over to GCOS, so we're going to have to see if Team Brexit can bounce back from this. Once again, the teams are KRR1 in the top lane for Team Brexit, S8 in the jungle, S8 jungle in the jungle, by the way, CWL in the mid lane, Tayoni and Haha12, by the way, in the bot lane. On the side of GCOS, the current point leaders, we have Benbow in the top lane, Ship in the jungle, Nath, not Nath, in the mid lane, Hollow in that ADC role, playing that Xayah, and Cardonos, a support, the support, playing that Alistar. And we're going to get into game here. It looks like pretty standard starts, both starting on their red side with a good leash from the bot lane.
Yep, since they're both starting on bot side, we may also see some early game focus, as both tanks in the top lane do have a considerable amount of CC on both sides, so you can maybe look for an early Zac gank or maybe an early Trundle counter. But just to jump back to the draft for a moment, I want to point out the fact that some people might be wondering why Xayah and Rakan were separated, because usually you want to be taking the bird duo in the bot lane. This game, Brexit decided to go for the Rakan first pick, which then prompted GCOS to steal away the Xayah. So I think that's a little bit interesting, because this isn't a lane matchup we're usually used to seeing. But as we pointed out earlier, we can already see that the Rakan-Caitlyn duo are getting the early push, because Caitlyn does outrange the Xayah, and Rakan does have pressure on the Alistar until he gets his combo.
He will have his combo now that both bot lanes have hit level 2 actually within a second of each other, so no real advantage there. Doesn't look like Alistar's gone in just yet. Excuse me. Nothing much happening there. They're just gonna pretty much match these lanes here. Yep. Nate's almost out of mana already, though. That's a bit of a problem.
Yeah, what Malzahar always wants to be doing early on is pushing up. But the thing that changed recently is that Malzahar, at least Nath, opted into the area. He doesn't have Summoner Spellbook, or he didn't take Teleport as well, so he's not going to be able to get back to the base, reset a little bit, get his health back, get his mana back, and then return to lane. He's going to be pushing up perhaps with no mana, and that might be a little bit risky when we consider the fact that Zac has a lot of ways to get onto a carry in the mid lane.
Yeah, he does need to be a little careful. His spell shield will help with that a bit, but it certainly won't save him from multiple forms of CC that can be put out by the jungler mid combo of Brexit here. Brexit certainly does look like they have a bit of an early fun time ahead of them, but could change on a knife's edge. These teams have proven that they can play very closely with each other, so it's really going to come down to who makes that first crucial play, who makes that first crucial mistake.
Yeah, currently looking at the top lane, Bembo has been pushing up against the Cho'Gath. He's looking at place of ward down now, but we do see that Zac is on type side, but there's Engage.
Cardono's going in on the bot side. It looks like nothing's really going to happen as the disengage from Haha goes in just the way you know it would. CWL now actually out of mana. Nath got some mana back. Obviously, Doran's Ring does give you some mana back, and also every time he kills a minion with Malefic Visions, he will get some mana back as well. Yep. Malefic Visions, of course, being the space the space disease.
The space disease.
The space disease, the thing that we're not going to talk about. That's going to be our meme today. We're going to figure out how many ways to say that. Yep, that's going to be a Pillar of Ice. It's going to force the flash of Tayoni, but that's going to be a WQ onto Haha. He will use Lover's Embrace to get out of that. Meanwhile, up in the top lane, we do have a bit of a wet noodle fight that's going to be slowly hardening into a hard noodle fight.
Well, the funny thing is you mentioned that it's a wet noodle fight. Before these top laners go back, get their first major tank items, it's not really a wet noodle fight because they do have a minimum amount of resistances. And with their base stats, on their kit, they do a fair amount of damage in the trade. So we might even see a solo kill in the top lane, as sometimes Cho'Gath's Devour could be really, I guess, surprising the amount of damage it does.
Yeah, and with the well, that's going to be a mispulverized. The pillar is nicely placed, but they're able to walk around it due to the no longer pressure from the WQ combo. Ornn's W does allow him to get a fair bit of damage off on the Shatter.
Yep.
So both of these champions in the top lane do have a fair bit of damage. However, with KRR1 being low on mana, that seems to be a pattern going through the different lanes right now. Hollow also very low on mana.
They
As
have no
that
mana.
happens, as that happens, it will make it very, very difficult to respond to that. But KRR1 does have the Vorpal spikes and the Rupture to trade back. His Feral Scream obviously not going to be doing much damage at level 1, but it is still the longest lasting stun in the game at max level, tied with Fiddlesticks.
Right. Well, just to return back to the bot lane for a moment, we saw there was a lot of focus by Ship onto the bot lane. I think that was in response to the early push that we established at level 1 from Kayle and Rakan. They were constantly pushing up, and to alleviate stress from this bot lane on the side of GCOS, we could see that Trundle came bot. You know, he got the summoner from Caitlyn. He got her flash really early. Really nice by Teoni to flash in reaction to further damage, so she could maintain her health lead. But she doesn't have a summoner spell now. She's down her flash, and so we might just see Ship go bot again, focus further in the lane with the Alistar knockup, with the Alistar engage, and we might even be able to see a slight lead in the bot lane start to develop if Ship is able to get first blood kill onto the Caitlyn.
Yeah, that's certainly a thing that could definitely happen now. We do want to point out here that Teoni, his flash is already halfway back up. He does also have the 90 caliber net. He's not completely immobile in this lane, but Ship's ganks could certainly mean danger and death for him if it manages to go off. Ship is on his red buff currently, as is Ship is on his red buff, as is his opponent. No, Ship's on his blue buff. I am colorblind.
Yes, blue.
Ship's on his blue buff. SA Jungle took his red buff. That is
You're
what I
correct.
meant to say. I am very confused, but I think I got it figured out now. In any case, but yeah, Ship is posturing around this bot side. SA Jungle could certainly try and do something here, but he's actually moved to the top side, which is a bit interesting. He's certainly not going to be able to get a gank off on this Ornn. He can try to do something mid lane, but Nath posturing very, very aggressively. I would like to see him try and pull something off here. Rift Herald isn't up for 1 minute and 45. Missed the QW combo there. Cardono's still going in. He's going to go for the stun.
Oh.
Battle dance into whatever the heck his W's
Nice
name is.
move.
Does mean that haha does go down. First blood goes over to Hollow.
Well, we were talking about first blood in the bot lane, but we were thinking about perhaps that was as a result of a gank by Ship, but it turns out that there's just a strip 2v2.
Teoni going to flashback in as my phone decides to continue the ring. That is going to be Featherstorm going down. Hollow picks up the second kill. An amazing intuitive flash there by Cardonos. Teoni trying a little bit hard to get that return kill.
Really nice by Cardonos on the Alistar, taking advantage of a slight miss-up by Teoni, realizing that Teoni still does not have their flash. So Alistar flashes in, gets the headbutt, pushes her back towards the Zion. That's a double kill now for the Zion. This is actually the worst case scenario for Brexit's bot lane. They want to develop an early lead. They want to threaten GCOS's bot lane tower with the range advantage on their ADC. But now things might just become more problematic, since if Azaya gets ahead and she has an Alistar supporting her, they're just gonna constantly look for fights. They're gonna constantly look for engages.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be something they're going to want to be doing here. The engages are certainly a possibility. I certainly love those because my voice totally isn't dying or anything from having to pass PvP at, 0 o'clock in the morning. But certainly looking forward to seeing how this game progresses. Getting an early double kill onto Hollow will certainly mitigate a bit of the Xayah Alistar lull lane problems that we saw earlier.
So what I'm gonna be looking at now is whether Nath is going to be able to consistently push into Ahri and look around the map, because we can see that Ahri does have a fairly solid time into the Voidlings, as long as she uses her Orb of Deception, I think it's called. Has a lot of wave clear, can match the Malzahar wave clear as well. So we can just see that there seems to be a fight in top lane.
Call of the Forge God going down. It might as well be Call of the Thunder God with this game. That was really
Nice
cool
dodge.
looking. Rupture spikes are dodged. Feral Scream is not dodged. The last breath of the Bellows breath
Bellows breath. Oh, you got it.
Hey! The last breath of the Bellows breath does manage to pick him up. He does not even need to shatter him. That's going to be a 1v1 kill over to Benbow, and like you said, it is no longer a wet noodle fight. It is very much a hard noodle fight.
Oh yeah. And like I established in Champs, like Orange is extremely well into Cho'Gath. He has a lot of damage. He can outtrade the Cho'Gath. He has a fair amount of sustain too. Once you realize that he does build a Catalyst in his normal traditional path, but we can see a gank on mid though.
SA Jungle going in here. That's going to force the flash from Nath, but he is able to get him back in with the Q
Nice
and the
bounce.
less bounce. Ship does manage to come in though. The combination of the ult and the Malefic Visions, Nether Grasp and Malefic Visions does secure the kill for Ship. That is going to be CWL coming down, and I believe that was KRR1's teleport that did end up being channeled
Right.
there. I didn't see what color it was, but I think that's what happened.
You are correct.
Cardono says, hey, that's my ward. But Haha says, haha, no, it's mine.
Well, by the way, still does get it in the end, but that gank and subsequent counter gank in the mid lane really describes the Zac Trundle matchup to a T. You know, you can have Zac running in early with these really creative and flexible engages. He came at the Malzahar from half a screen away. Nate had a hard time reacting to that, and we did see some of the power of the Ari early on, but she did not get her loot and Echo yet, so they did not have the burst damage to kill Nate altogether. And then we can see Ship was with a really nice response, getting there in time, saving his mid laner, and eventually getting a pickup kill onto the Ari. And this is not good for the Ari. If an assassin gets behind, they lose their kill potential, which translates into silent pressure as well. And if you can't get silent pressure against the Malzahar, he's gonna consistently push up against you in the mid game, and he's gonna roam around the map, and you're gonna start bleeding objectives all over the place.
Now, one thing to point out here is that there is an engage happening in the bot lane.
counter
Cardono's
engage.
going in here. He is going to get a stun off onto Teoni, but the quickness does go down. The ignite is happening onto Cardonos. They will not need to worry about Ace in the Hole. That's a flash coming down from Haha, followed by the Feather Storm. The heal does ensure that Ace in the Hole does
Ship.
not kill. Ship is getting awfully low thanks to CWL's positioning. No one will fall. I need to figure out what the hell that W's name is. Grand Entrance!
Grand Entrance. That was an awfully large amount of summoners burned the bot lane. We could see that Brexit burned all their summoners. They were definitely looking for a kill there. But we see another fight in the top lane.
Yeah, Call of the Forge God coming back in as the client logs out, so I will have to take a look at that fight. It does look like a flash was burned, but that means KRR1 will get out here. Benbow certainly putting the law down on this Ornn. I do appreciate that. S8 Jungle hanging around here. I do want to highlight that Ship has been, in both of these games, very cognizant of where he needs to be. Last game, as the game went on, his engages just got better and better and better. And ending up with the game-winning one. KRR1 will fall here to Benbow as he does lay down the continuous law. He's going to try and pass through the turret and then decide better. Very well done by him. He does pick up the kill. Does look like GCOS are taking a much more commanding lead of this game than they did last game.
Yeah, this game seems to be slipping away from Brexit. As we see, there's now 2 solo kills on top lane. And as we pointed out earlier with that counter gank by Trundle, Ari was set behind, and Nath was given a lot of time just to continually push into mid-wave, continually get damage on the tower, and eventually pays off in the first blood tower for GCOS with no response from Brexit at all. And we also see that Ship is stealing away a blue buff now. You know, Brexit is bleeding all over the place. They need to really get something back on their side. They really need to react and, I guess, stem the bleeding. They need to look... I think they need to look around bot lane because they still do have the recon engage. And as we saw from the earlier all-in that was interrupted by all-in in the top lane, you know, they still have damage. As long as they avoid Alistar hip-hop pulverize onto 2 perhaps, then they can still have the potential to turn a fight. We can see the Ship is walking around bot side. They might be looking for a dragon now.
Also, I'm not really sure when this happened, but apparently GCOS managed to pick up the first tower, so that's the thing.
Yeah, that was just that Malzahar push constantly, pushing an Ari.
Yeah, that's very, very good. He actually has wow, he's got about 1,200 gold. That's basically half of the gold lead of the entire team. is Nath over CWL. Nath certainly was a key part of the game the win last time from GCOS with his Aurelion Soul. Good to see him continue to put down pressure here with this Malzahar. They ban out his Anivia, he'll just play someone else. Benbow again doing his best to put damage down onto Cho'Gath.
Yeah, Cho'Gath just can't do anything right now. We can also see that Benbow completed his Abyssal Mask already. He has a lot of damage against this Cho'Gath. He just has to sit there and take it from him. So you see...
Grand entrance does come in from Haha, but he did not realize that there were 4 people there, so now he is Haha dead, by the way. And the dragon goes over to GCOS. That's Cloud Drake 06, 4,000 gold. That's bigger than the gold lead was at the end of the game, the last game. So definitely a very, very good thing for GCOS here. They're gonna try and take this bot tower as well.
Yeah, that was a really ambitious, should I even say engaged by Haha 12, by the way, because he didn't have his jungler nearby and he was jumping into the pit against 3 or 4. I don't know.
We'll call it a jump in. I mean, we can't really call it an engage because
it was ambitious. It was ambitious, right?
Yeah, whatever it was ambitious, and I could totally see Ambition doing something like that. especially when he was playing mid lane. Jungle, not so much. But now we do see that GCOS is actually going to take the Rift Herald as well. They are securing the objectives all around the map. Ship has this game in his pocket. Like last game, he snuck the Herald so well, even us casters didn't even see him take it. So very, very good for him. It's now almost 5,000 gold in favor of Team GCOS. They're firmly in the lead here. Not a single death on their team. If they manage to shut out, this is going to be very, very, very crushing for them and will secure them the EU Championship for Learning 5's March 2018 season.
Now we can see that GCOS, as their bot lane's moving up, they're looking maybe at the Cho'Gath, but more primarily at the top lane turret. Now that they have a lead, they just want to be taking down all the outer turrets first. You know, slowly secure their way into Brexit's jungle. They want to be playing this slow and methodical since they have such a huge lead. This game should be over as long as they execute properly. So we can see that Nath is also roaming top. He wants to be matching his bot lane. He wants to be roaming around the map once he gets the push in mid lane. Wants to be responding when he has the mid priority. And he seems like they're just going to get another tower free.
Yeah, and like you said, the execution is really going to be what it comes down to this game. But we have to remember, execution is the hardest part of League of Legends. You can know what you have to do, but actually doing it, that's the really hard part. And you see that in every esport. You see that in PUBG, you see that in Street Fighter, you see that in just about every game that can be played in a competitive setting. It's the execution that's always going to come down to who wins, who executes better, and who makes less mistakes. So as it stands right now, GCOS has made basically 0 mistakes, 0 big mistakes, other than Cardonos being here by himself. The quickness does go down, followed by the ignite, but the plant does get him out safely. So he does make a mistake there, but he ends up using his superior execution to get out. And it's not even superior execution. He was just able to, wow, CWL. Wow, that was kind of a, man. But in any case, very well done there by Cardonos getting out there. He knows what he's doing, and he executed on it.
Yeah, now something I want to point out that's really interesting about Nath's build is that he built Ludens into Shurelya's, and he also has Boots of Lucidity. That's 40% CDR before 20 minutes. That's gonna be great for getting his ults off consistently, you know, 24/7. Whenever he needs it, he can. But we can see that shit might be overextending now.
S8 jungle landing that awesome little let's bounce. Benbow gets the call of the Forge God, but it is not able to save Ship.
Look at Nate, this is a 2v5.
Yeah, CWL's coming in here, followed by Haha 12. By the way, Benbow, he's very tanky though. He should be able to get out of this just fine. 2v5, they're able to pick up 1. That's the first major mistake that has been made by GCOS all game. Let's hope it doesn't affect them. Gold has closed to just under 6,000.
Well, they are getting top tower damage now, and they might just get that second tier in top lane. But as I was saying, Ship was caught out there because he did not set up the proper vision before he went for an invade. Again, it's all about execution. when you have the lead in the game, you want to be pushing to the enemy jungle. Yes, you want to be getting more vision. You want to be taking their jungle camps, and you want to be making sure that you have room to get a pick onto their carries. But he didn't dot his I's and cross his T's there. He just walked in. He saw the red buff. He wanted it. Didn't have vision, but he still decided to go for it.
Yeah, and even though it was a 5v2 and they were able to pick up a kill, they lose a tower off of that, and Benbow is continuing to put pressure on this bot lane pretty much with impunity. Even with Teoni coming down here, Teoni can't really do much to him. Benbow can just kind of stand around, wait for the wave to come back. Nath is down here too. They really have complete control of this match. 4 towers to 0. Rift Herald coming in. It's actually spawned in the Tribush. I believe it was actually about to time out there. It's been around for a long time.
They took it fairly early, so it might look like they're sieging bot. But
Here comes SA Jungle. He's going to try and get onto Nath here and Benbow. He's going to flash for the Let's Bounce. He only is able to pick up Benbow, but Benbow will just walk away. Call of the Forge God is coming down. That will be a hit onto the target. CWL getting hit by the Malefic Visions, but Nath does fall to the Devourer of KRR1. SA Jungle getting very low. His Cell Division will pop. KRR1 tanking up a lot of damage. Cardono's getting low. He's going to have to back up. It's a 2v1, and Aha does come down, and Hollow flashing in to get the kill on CWL, proving me wrong. Now Benbow going in here. He does get the dash in. Cardonos gets the pulverize, and that will be KRR1 going down to Cardonos. 4-1 in favor of Team GCOS. Even when they get engaged upon, they end up ahead 9,000 gold in their favor.
Yeah, so again, we can just see that like last game, Brexit overextended for a fight. Yes, they got an early good start to the fight. They did have a good engage and start to the fight with SA Jungle flashing in for the Zac ult. But the problem is when you're at such a huge gold deficit, and when you saw that the Xayah was only in the mid lane, she wasn't too far away. The longer that fight goes on and you're behind, the more time you're giving the enemy team time to run and react to the fight. They turn the fight on Brexit's head, and they get punished for it.
Also, I said Malefic Visions instead of Nether Grasswear, and I just realized it. Now I feel really bad, even though he was using Malefic Visions too, so never mind. In any case, it's definitely a very, very dire situation here for Team Brexit. They are exactly 9,000 gold down, 23 minutes in. GCOS, they can posture for a Baron now, but it looks like they're almost avoiding Baron as it stands right now. By this point in the last game, they had completely set up vision and were controlling that vision very, very heavily, but they're only now starting to try and clear out the wards. I think this is a bit of an over adaptation by them, knowing how long that Baron dance lasted. They maybe want to try and finish this game out quickly, because player exhaustion, even when you're ahead, is a very, very real thing.
Oh, definitely.
The amount of focus you need to have to play at the kind of fives level that learning fives does engender.
The dance is strong.
Yeah, the dance is very strong. That takes a lot of effort too. You gotta be able to dance. Gotta dance. You can dance if you want to, and you can leave your friends behind, but if you do, they'll probably flame you and tell you to 9x report. So don't do that.
Yeah, so we can just see that they're trying to set up vision around Baron now, as you said. And like relating this to last game, I think another thing to mention about this is Brexit has a really strong way into the Baron pit if GCOS does decide to initiate it, because they do have a Recon for engage, does have a splash. Zac has an easy way into the Baron pit as long as he has his team around him, because he has his because of his E. And you still do have Ahri coming around from the side, you know, using her ult, she might be able to pressure GCOS off, because while they do have a monstrous, you know, almost 10,000 gold lead now, the game still isn't over. It's not over until the Nexus is broken down. And when you have a late game carry like Caitlyn, if you get her a few kills, this game might just turn on its head again.
Yeah, it definitely could be turned around, but it is GCOS's game right now. They are significantly in the lead, like we said. That gold lead is going to be less and less as the game goes on, so they are certainly going to want to close this out within the next 10 minutes or so. Otherwise,
just see a Baron Force now.
Otherwise, this advantage will fall. Benbow, he's going to do his best to just be annoying here. Auron, one of the best split pushers in the game, Not because he can escape really well, not because he can push exceedingly fast, though he can push relatively well. He can base whenever he wants. As long as he has teleport, he can join the fight, and he can pick up items whenever he wants. So he can
Doesn't have
just
to go back
continue
to
to push and continue to get. Yeah, he doesn't even have to go back to base to pick up items. So he can just continue to push, continue to get stronger, while continuing to apply pressure. And the Baron dance can happen basically with him as right there. And as soon as he joins, Call of the Forge God comes in, and suddenly the entire team fight can flip on its head. Baron will be started here for Team GCOS. Team Brexit is supremely out of position. They have absolutely no vision of this whatsoever. They gotta know that it's happening.
Zach is still running just from base. He's not there in time.
Yeah, this will be a completely free Baron for them unless something really crazy happens.
Nope. No miracles. Not today.
Benbow does not have Banner of Command yet, and he hasn't even actually started it yet.
He doesn't need it. He has the Baron.
Well, I mean, it's still nice,
Yeah,
but
fair enough, yeah.
but he will continue to push, and he'll continue to apply that pressure. But now, with GCOS being able to secure that Baron so much easier than last game, being now almost 12,000 gold ahead, this is their moment. They have a window of about 7 minutes here, where as long as they can end the game within this next 7 minutes, there is absolutely no way that Brexit can fight them on a 5v5 even footing. Once they get beyond that, though, Brexit will start getting their items. Once Teoni on this Caitlyn gets their third item, it will mean so much towards putting them back on an even playing field. So if this, I will predict, I'll say it right now,
Okay.
this game goes beyond 40 minutes, I'm calling it a Brexit victory. But if it ends before that, it's definitely ending in favor of GCOS. So we'll have to see how this goes.
Well, I like to see that. If there isn't a fight. Oh, that was a really nice interrupt by Cardonos there.
Cardonos is going to try and
Oh,
get on
unlucky
as a
flash.
jungle. The unlucky flash does not get him out. It's actually going to be haha falling force. The Cell Division will not save SA jungle. He will come back to life only to die. Excuse me. That's going to be a shatter on the CWL.
Oh, nice.
He's going to need to flash away. KRR1 is going to use the Righteous Glory to get out. The Ace in the Hole is canceled by Featherstorm. That's an inhibitor going down, and there's 2 down. 15 seconds until Haha is back up. They could definitely try to push in to win
Good
here.
luck
Call
for
of the
the end.
Forge Guard is not up, though, but they do
Oh,
have Nether
nice.
Grasp, and there it is. That is going to be CWL falling down. That's going to
The
be
Nate?
Nate falling down from KRR1. That might be enough to stop them. Cardonos is going to tank up these towers using Unbreakable Will, and it's actually
surrendered.
going to be a surrender
What?
from Brexit. Just like the French before them, they will give up the crown to GCOS. And they will take the title of European Union's Europe's only and forever until next season champions. Congratulations to Benbow Ship, Nath, Hollow, and Cardonos, and Banana, and I guess too. They are officially your EU West Learning Fives champions with an amazing 2-game sweep over the Brexit, who took an early exit out of the game with that surrender.
You know, well, I can't say it's the same for the first game. Second game was definitely a one-way. I guess like it was a one-sided game completely from the start. You know, from the first, double kill in the bot lane, from the first solo kills in top lane, and from the early first blood tower taken by Malzahar before 20 minutes. You know, this game was every single lane was winning. You had Ship on the top of his game. You know, always countering these Zac ganks. You can see that every single member of GCOS was performing, and it just paid out for the team in general because they just really ran through Brexit there. Brexit, I guess, just gave up at the end with the surrender. You know, guess they're not EU. Guess it's not UK at least. You know, putting on their best France cosplay.
Yeah.
But that was definitely a really nice, really clean game from GCOS. Again, Bembo just really, putting on his dancing shoes, dodging like every single Cho'Gath rupture at the beginning, just out trading the Cho'Gath consistently, always being this piece of side lane pressure that GCOS could rely on. You saw that Brexit had to send multiple people down to receive him. You could see that even while the rest of the team was dancing around the Baron, he was just messing with Brexit's jungler and their top laner, just messing with him around their red buff, doing some damage, trading, wasting their time. You could just see that this Ornn took over the game.
Well, yeah, and I definitely agree with you there, Ornn. Definitely a very big influence here. Unfortunately, I am going to need to cut off your analysis there because we only have 30 minutes left until our next tournament game starts. So we do want to give a minute for the casters to set up and everything to be reset for our 3 p.m. EST match, which is going to be the NA Silver Finals, Control 6 versus Arky MIA. So please join us again there for that game in about 30 minutes. I need to figure out why my dog is going crazy. My name is Can Opener Dude. I've been joined here by Wee Zhao, and before that, Belkar Rama. So thank you all for joining us. This is the last EU game for the season. So once again, congratulations to GCOS, our European Learning Fives champions. And thank you all for watching. We'll see you back here in 30 minutes for our next game.